Well, everybody, welcome to the Royalty Roundup podcast. I guess we could call it a podcast, right? Because you're listening to our voices streaming as we talk about a topic that is so important to rodeo queens, to leaders, to anybody around the world who wants to make a difference. And today it's all about leadership. And so my name is Sarah Bohnenkamp. I'm so excited to be here with you. And I have two very special guests with me today. And I think that you probably know who they are if you know anything about the rodeo world. And so without further ado, let me introduce my guests. Today I have with us two Miss Rodeo Americas. We have a former last year, 2018 Miss Rodeo America, Miss Carrie Sheffield, and then we have this year's Miss Rodeo America 2019, Taylor McNair. So we are so lucky to have these ladies, and we're going to guide us through a couple of conversations that I think will help anybody with a couple of tips on how do you be a good leader, and how does that translate to the world of rodeo? How does that translate to the world of being anti-average? Because if you know anything about me, that's what I stand for, doing things that are outside of the average, right? Doing things that push the status quo or even shift or change the status quo. And so that's what we're here to do today, is talk about leadership, talk about things that make an impact with ladies who know it, who experience it, who see it all the time on the road. So Carrie, I want you to start us off, and I've got a question for you that I think everybody's really curious about. You had a year of amazing travels as Miss Rodeo America. Before that, as you were your state rodeo queen, and before that, as you were, coming on up and learning all the things as you were, going to school and working, and, just the interesting life that you've led. But as you think back of all the leaders that you have engaged with, I'm curious if you have seen some themes of what leadership behaviors look like, right? If you describe leadership in action based on what you've seen, what does it look like to you?
Well, I think throughout all of my rodeo travels as Miss Rodeo Florida and Miss Rodeo America, the one thing that stood out to me that really makes rodeo turn and makes it work day in and day out, 365 days a year, is commitment and passion. I think that those are two huge qualities that I saw pretty much all the time at every rodeo, no matter what state. When you think about the committees and the volunteers that it takes to rodeo, they don't have to do that. They don't have to come out in the rain and the storms or in the rain and the mud in July in Cheyenne.
And the hail.
Yes. So by no means, they don't have to do that. They take time out of their schedules because they are passionate about rodeo and they're committed to it. Rodeo announcers, they step away from their families and they travel just like the cowboys and cowgirls to bring us the great sport of rodeo, over their microphone. And that also takes a huge amount of commitment and passion. Cowboys and cowgirls, same thing. Without them, without their commitment and passion, without them holding those same leadership qualities, we wouldn't have rodeo. I think those are two huge things that, like I said, no matter what, you see through and through every day, no matter what rodeo you go to.
Holy moly, yeah. If you are saying, I'm going to take my time away from my family, go on the road, do these things day in, day out, the travel, all of that, that takes huge commitment and passion. Now, a question for you as you talk about passion, because I don't know about you, I'm sure now that you're on the flip side and you probably judge lots of girls and help lots of people get ready. It's funny, you get into an interview and you ask somebody, why should we pick you as the rodeo queen? Or why are you a great leader? It's amazing how many times people say, oh, because I have a lot of passion. At least I've heard this. Have you heard that as an answer?
Yes.
Right. And you're like, oh, good. But I think that passion is one of those words that is really hard to describe. Right? As you think and look at the behaviors that go with passion, as you think about the committees, right, and the cowboys and the announcers, what does passion look like? Is it just it's the travel, the commitment? Is there anything else that you might add to that? What does passion look like to you?
For me, it's the committees that the volunteers, hospitality comes to mind when I think about that are up at 3, 4 in the morning cooking breakfast for all of the cowboys, the cowgirls, to feed the rest of the volunteers. You have to be passionate about something to wake up at 3 a.m. and make a huge meal, especially when you don't have to and you're not getting paid for it. You have to be passionate about that sport and about those people that you're feeding. The rodeos that stay up until 3 in the morning studying the statistics, studying the stock, studying the cowboys, the cowgirls, their horses, their families, knowing every in and out of them. That takes passion. You have to care for those cowboys and cowgirls. You have to care about their story. You have to care about those horses, the bucking horses and the bucking bulls. And who are the other people we were talking about? Announcers, the committees.
Right. Well, and you made such a really important point there is that, okay, not only am I getting up at 3 or 4, like putting in all the hours to make the stuff happen, but the paycheck, like for the committee, like you're not getting it. Or the announcer, like he's not getting paid for the hours and hours he's getting on the road to get from point A to point B, right? Like there's money components, there's energy components, there's relationship components. All of those things are really combined into the passion. So I appreciate you giving us that kind of insight. Now, Taylor, it's your turn. You are at least halfway into your year now. Is that right?
It's flying by too quickly.
So you're halfway in. You've got Miss Rodeo Mississippi under your belt. You know what leadership looks like, right? So what's really standing out as you look at leadership behaviors? What does passion look like when you're seeing it?
Right. We see the stock contractors, the judges, the announcers, the cowboys and the cowgirls front and center in the arena. But I think really the unsung leadership and leaders of a rodeo are perhaps maybe the sponsors and the community that surrounds that rodeo. The Professional Rodeo Cowboys Association sanctions some 650 rodeos each year. And let me tell you, most of those are small town community rodeos. For instance, I came from Crossett, Arkansas a few weeks ago. Their population is about 5,000 people. And let me tell you, that may not be the biggest town, but they have so much to give. These are some of the most successful people in their communities that are spending their time and their money sponsoring and volunteering a rodeo that maybe they don't know that much about rodeo, but they see the people that are involved in rodeo and how perhaps we may overuse the word passionate, but just how, enthusiastic we are and how much we love and how much we're committed to our sport. And that carries over into their enthusiasm and they want to be a part of that. So making it contagious, we see the community just catch on and support, and ultimately their leadership means so much from our grassroots organization of rodeo.
I love that you're talking about the contagious energy, right? Because that's what leadership takes, is that, we want to have something happen, right? There's an action that we want, and it doesn't just naturally occur, right? It's going to take something to shake it up. And it's those people that are coming together for that common purpose, and they get there and they're like, oh my gosh, this is so exciting. And they create that community, they create that energy, and they can come together and really create something that never even existed before, and that everybody at the end of the day benefits from. Because at the end of the day, right, leaders, you come to a rodeo, does it feel good, right? You go to a meeting, right, that everybody was heard, everybody had a stake in it, right? There was this energy that was exciting, right? Everybody leaves and like, ooh, I want to do that again. And isn't that what we want out of life, is to like create this stuff where like, this was good, right?
Exactly.
We are serving each other. And I just think that it's neat that you get to see that replicated, week after week, town after town, in lots of different ways. Now, does every leader lead the same way, Taylor?
No, not at all. And I think that's what makes us each so unique. We have a different skill set. We have a different vision. And that's what makes the world go round, is because every leader is different.
Yes. So, okay, I'm going to put you on the spot. Like, we're talking about how all these leaders are different, but we have these kind of core things that we see coming back over and over: passion, all the things. Who do you think, if you look at the landscape of rock star cowboys, cowgirls, family members, all of this, who's one of your absolute favorite leaders that you've come across?
It's really hard to pinpoint just one specific leader in our sport. Of course, we look up to Mr. George Taylor, our CEO, and we look up to perhaps, Miss Rodeo America or whoever it may be. But for me, it's the rodeo presidents, the rodeo committees, and the board members that start their work as soon as that rodeo ends, and they are spending the next 365 days preparing for the next rodeo. These are complete rock stars and leaders, in my opinion, because they take the data that they've collected from that last rodeo and they want to make it better. They want to improve it. They want their next rodeo to be a sellout, and they want to celebrate when it's their centennial year. For example, Reno, because they worked so hard each and every year to make the biggest and best show on dirt for their community and for the cowboys and cowgirls that come to participate. So it's really evident for me talking to these rodeo presidents and committees that they're the leaders that truly make a difference, because without these smaller rodeos, or maybe not so small, we wouldn't have the WNFR. We wouldn't have those other qualification rodeos. It really does start at their level, and they're showing true leadership by making changes and talking about ways we can make it better.
Holy moly, I love what you're talking about there, because what you just told me is that it's really taking a business-minded approach, saying we might have really rocked and rolled this year, but we're never going to rest on our laurels, right? We're going to take the data that we have at our fingertips and we're going to evaluate it. And we're going to look at that data, and then we're going to set some goals about improvement. And even if we've sold out, right? Even if we've already created this great legacy or whatever, that's never enough. And if we're truly living the sport, living the thing, leading to our truest potential, it's about that centennial, right? I want to be here in 100 years and 200 years and whatever, so much time, saying we are still here. And what you saw the first time was way different. But here's the stuff that you can always trust and know.
Exactly. We
Right?
can't
It's great.
stay stagnant. We've got to keep moving and evolving and going forward, because the world's not going to stop turning. So we've got to continue to get better and better. And with new technology and the world just evolving like it is, there's so many opportunities that we can advance rodeo. And I truly see that through our rodeo committees, especially their presidents stepping up and taking those roles on improving rodeo for the better.
Right. I have two thoughts. What I heard a lot are things that are also used in sustainability, right? I know that you're connected to agriculture, and I do a lot of work in agriculture, and we talk about how do we create sustainability, for raising animals for food, or sustainability in business even. And it is that focus of continuous improvement, right? It's always figuring out what's that next thing. So I love that. But then before I go to Carrie, because I can't wait to hear how she answers it, I just have to say that you didn't give us a single name. Ha, ha, ha. Carrie, are you going to be like Taylor and take the, global view, or are you going to give us a name of your favorite leader?
I'm going to give you a name of one of my favorites in the rodeo arena. And for me, when I think about a leader, as I read your email and read that question, Tyson Durfee came to mind for me. I think that he is an incredible person with an incredible family. And one of the things that stands out to me about him is his honesty and integrity. Dwight Eisenhower said, "The supreme quality of leadership is unquestionable integrity. Without it, no real success is possible, whether it on a section gang, a football field, in the Army, or in an office." And I think I love that. And I think that Tyson is one of those people that he's the same person at home in his arena that he is at the WNFR in Las Vegas. He is super committed to making other people better. If you follow him on Instagram, he has all kinds of motivational videos that he posts every day, and I love that about him. It's not about him. It's about making other cowboys and cowgirls bigger and better and getting their mental game stronger. And I just love that about him and his family. Just some of the most encouraging, most honest people you ever want to meet. So when I think about a leader inside of the rodeo arena on that dirt, that's whose name comes to mind for me.
Ooh, Taylor, I see your head nodding. Everybody else won't be able to see you, but I get like,
Yeah,
you're liking
Tyson
her
is
answer.
great for sure. I can just want to reiterate everything she said. Tyson is such an exceptional leader in our sport. There's never a day that goes by that I see Tyson at a rodeo that he doesn't speak and that he does have a smile on his face. And that goes back to being contagious. When you're surrounding yourself by great people, you only want to be better and you want to be better to other people. And so we definitely need more Tysons in the world.
Oh, I love it. So there were some key words: consistency, right? When he is in the arena or outside of the arena, you know what you're going to get. Right. And that's a trust building activity, right? When I engage every single time, right? What does that feel like? And so the feeling that you get is really, really good. You also said that it's really about a focus of motivation, right? And being better, right? And so that even goes back to what we were saying with that continuous improvement, right? There's never just the end game. There's always something that's next. And that it's about that service of helping others, right? What can I do, even though I've got my life that's pretty rocking here? What is it that I'm going to be able to do to really create the goodness outside of my own world? And he does that. I think that's a great example. So I love, love, love your answers, ladies. Now I want to take us to something that's really, I'm going to skip number 3 because I just want to. I want to go straight to the horse question because it's so much fun. I think that's one of the things I love about rodeo queens and rodeo, right, is the horses. And I think that most of the people listening probably have that really deep-rooted love for horses. And Taylor, I've been watching you ride some beautiful American quarter horses all year. Carrie, I was just talking with my daughter Brighton about her watching you ride a really difficult horse at Douglas County last year when she met you, and you had a horse that was just ready to go, like just chomping at the bit all the time, and you were like having to rein him in because he was just like ripping, right? And every horse, every situation teaches us something about leadership. And so as you think about all of the horses that you've had the pleasure of riding and engaging with over your life, what kind of nods can we take from them as we think about leadership and the impact that we make as we're out there being big leaders? So, Carrie, why don't you go first on this one?
Something horses have taught me from the very beginning is confidence. I think that's a big key thing that horses helped me with. I remember being 5 years old and scared to death to get in the saddle, but the more I rode and the more I got to know the horses I was on, I could just, well, I couldn't see it at the time, but other people, my parents and the people who taught me how to ride, my extended family, they could see that confidence in me. And that confidence translates to our horses as well. So if you're getting ready for a big run and you're confident in yourself and you're cool and calm and collected, your horse can feel that too. So it's one of those things that they teach us, but then that you also have to be for them pretty much all the time. So that's the big key thing that I take away from horses is confidence. That's what they've helped me with, and that's what I try to be for them whenever I swing my leg over.
Well, and you mentioned something really important about, like, I need to show up for them with confidence, right? That they help inspire that in me as a leader. But if they don't find that leadership from you, they don't find that confidence from you, then they can't be as successful as they were born to be. Right. And so it's your job to give them that leadership and to show up in a confident way so that they can show up and be amazing. So I love that confidence is something that you've learned from horses. That's really great. Taylor, what do you think horses have taught you most about leadership?
Definitely adaptability is what I've learned from horses as Miss Rodeo America. throughout my years of riding, definitely confidence was something that was built in me and instilled in me, because the horse can truly feel whether you're confident in yourself and confident in your riding abilities. But throughout this year, being able to get on different horses, different styles, different push button types, I've learned adaptability and getting comfortable being uncomfortable, because you never know what you're going to get on. Each horse is different, just like we as humans are different. Horses have their good days, they have their bad days, and it's just working on adapting. And that goes with pushing yourself, not being nervous, rather being confident when you get on a horse. There's so many things we can learn from a horse. You'll never know everything or learn everything that you possibly can from a horse in your lifetime, because they offer so much more than we could ever imagine. To just teaching us. We don't always see it, but adaptability has been the biggest thing I've been taught by a horse, is just being able to go with the flow and learn how to adapt in life.
I love that, being comfortable being uncomfortable, not knowing what you're going to get. And you said something that I hadn't really considered, is that as you think about the depth of somebody or the depth of knowledge that you need as a leader, right? You're never going to hit that bottom, right? And horses are the same way. You think that you might know them and how they might react, and you might have been riding them for years, but there's still something that's going to come out and surprise you, right? You just don't know. They're animals, right? And they're so complex. And so I think that's a really golden nugget there, and that you're never going to know everything, right? As a leader, and you just better be able to get on, be adaptable, and roll with it. I really, really love that. And I've got two more questions. And so I'm going to bring number 3 back in, because the whole reason that we're here together today is to talk about leadership and communication and these types of topics, because we're going to be doing something really fun in a couple of weeks here in Colorado, where I am. And it's the Royalty Roundup. It's a one-day workshop where Taylor's going to be coming in. We did this a couple of it was a little bit longer time period last year in Tennessee. Carrie was there, where we're really going to just give rodeo queens, people who want to wear that Miss Rodeo America crown on their hat one day, the opportunity to come in and really work on their skills, and not their skills from the perspective of hair and makeup and horsemanship and rodeo knowledge and those basic things, right? Because that's the expectation coming to this thing. It's like, you know that. We're really looking at it from that next level leadership perspective, to say, how can we help grow ladies who are ready to go in and lead, right? Lead at their local rodeo, lead within their communities, lead within their cities and their states and their regions. But even bigger, how do we lead cultures of young women and communities who are ready to go and create energy, right? Enthusiasm and good things in the world. And so we're going to do that coming up on August 1st in Colorado. Taylor will be there. But the whole end in mind is to help create epic queens, right? Queens, and queen, I think I use in a loose term. Like, I think that's any woman who's going to go and do amazing things, blaze epic trails. Right? And as you guys have been out there, similarly, as you're looking at leadership and committees and sponsors and all of that, what's something that you're noticing that queens are doing, right? That young women are doing to really lead differently when you're out there and engaging? Because I know that, there's a lot of mediocrity in everything, right? There's mediocrity in all sorts of leadership. And it's like, we're not here to talk about what the status quo is, right? I want to know what excellent looks like. And so if you had to give me some advice, right? And I'm going to talk to somebody who wants to wear your hat, or that crown on their hat. What does epic look like? What should more queens be doing? Taylor, you're in the thick of it right now. What do you see? What do we need more of?
We need to stop waiting for it to happen, and we need to make it happen. We need to take initiative, take the opportunities that are presented to us, as well as take those chances, because we're only going to grow from these experiences. For me, I only have 1 year as Miss Rodeo America, and the opportunities I'm presented this year are fantastic. And my goal each and every day is to be better, to give 100% each and every day, and to maybe, as a rodeo queen, you may be into fashion, or you may be more into the rodeo spectrum, or you may be into the more history and stuff you are, and don't regret anything. Definitely give back after the crown is gone as well. It doesn't have to be just your 1 year of service under the crown, but continue to give back. And honestly, the best advice I can give is absolutely don't wait for it to happen, make it happen.
Oh, baby. And I like that you said that it doesn't have to look the same for everybody, right? Whatever your thing is, whether you like the fashion or the history or the whatever, just give it back and do it now. Carrie, as you saw all of the Rockstar Rodeo queens in your travel, what really stood out?
I talk about this, I feel like so much at any kind of clinic that I go to or when I'm talking to other girls, but I really can't brag on the women that I competed at Miss Rodeo America with. So my 2017 state title holders. The thing that I saw through and through with them was teamwork. And one of my favorite stories from Miss Rodeo America, there's so many, but just what stood out in my mind is arriving to Miss Rodeo America and it not feeling like a competition. You know, it felt like all of our last big hoorah. And I was getting ready to walk the stage at fashion show. So as some of you know, that's one of the biggest events at Miss Rodeo America. And I didn't have a pair of jeans. I had forgotten a pair of jeans. There's no time to run back to your room. And one of the state queens just said, I've got a pair, and just, you know, threw them over, and just, she didn't even think about it. She didn't even think twice. And then later on, you know, I said, oh, red boots would go so great with this. Another one of them said, oh, here's some red boots, throw these on. These would look great. And I can't tell you how many times that happened to not only me, but the other girls backstage. And when those girls didn't have to do that, you know, we're competing for the title of a lifetime, something that some of us have worked our whole lives towards. And for them to give, you know, to lend a helping hand and to help you, to benefit you in one of the, I mean, probably the biggest competition of our lives, that was just incredible to me. And that's what I would love to see more of, because that's what made Miss Rodeo America so much fun for me, because I didn't feel like it was this cutthroat, nobody talked to anybody, you know, pageant. It wasn't like that. And, you know, so often I feel like it can be. But I just, you know, if you fell down, then you had 30 other women there to pick you back up and to push you to keep you going. So that's who stands out to me are those women, and I love them to death. And those are the moments that stand out to me too from my year.
And it's those collection of little moments that make the impact, right? It's those collection of moments that create leaders or not. And so I love hearing the things like generosity, and hearing that people were moving in a way that demonstrated an abundance mindset versus a scarcity mindset, right? Knowing that if we all show up in service of one another, then we all can win and create something really, really fantastic. And so it sounds like you had some really fabulous women that you can look forward to, you know, continuing to lead past whatever, you know, the crowns bring. And that's so what our goal is. And so as we think about the next steps of, you know, what's going to happen in the next couple of weeks, Taylor, you're going to be on the road. You're going to be traveling to my home state of Idaho. You get to go to Greeley, just up the road where I live now. You're going to be headed to Estes Park. I mean, you're just going to be a road warrior. Carrie, you're going to be in the trauma unit, like working your tail off. Ladies and gentlemen, just know that she's been working like 13, 14-hour shift before she did this. She's a rock star. There's true leadership there. Right. So as you think about all of the choices we have and how we make our, you know, busy lives tick, why would a busy girl want to come and join us at Royalty Roundup this year? Carrie, as you think back of like what happened last year and the experience that you had and the, you know, the things that we create, what stands out? Why would somebody want to come?
I think the biggest thing is it's an incredible opportunity to meet people that you would never usually meet face to face and get their input on things and their side of things. I think that last year you all had incredible people there to speak. Miss Rodeo Americas president was there. Ton from the board, just great leaders who you normally wouldn't get the opportunity to talk to throughout your year. And I think that's what they'll get this year as well, especially having someone from the PRCA there to talk about all of the ins and outs of, kind of the behind the scenes of the branding and what's going on right now with the PRCA. That's incredible. When else are you going to get the opportunity to sit down and hear from people like that? So if there is one thing that drives you and draws you to this clinic, I would say take advantage of the people that are going to be there, because that's an incredible opportunity to be in a room with so many influential leaders.
Heck yeah, it's going to be so, so great. Taylor, what do you add? You mean you were there as a learner last year. And so what was in it for you?
Right. From a spectator's standpoint, I thought it was an exceptional gathering because I learned things I wouldn't normally learn in, per se, a rodeo queen setting. So honestly, when I thought about this clinic, I thought, oh, I'm going to learn, everything you learn at another clinic. But I learned far more than I've ever learned at any other clinic in my life. I learned how to brand myself. I learned who I was, what I wanted, and where I was going and how I was going to get there. You gave me the tools necessary to find out exactly how I could get where I wanted to go. And the people that were brought in were exceptional. They gave me a different perspective. And I took some time after the clinic to really put to use all the things I learned. And I firmly believe that it helped me to accomplish the more about myself than I ever thought was possible. And to understand yourself is so, so important, because that's how you become confident and a great leader.
Right? I say that everything flows from the inside out, right? Everything. And so that knowledge of who I am, what I stand for, what's my brand, when I have that, then that allows me to then show up and bring it to the rest of the world. So Taylor, I'm really excited to hear that it helped you to really get even greater clarity, and then give you some tools to figure out what is it, or what do you need to bring that to life, right? To offer it up so the world then can benefit. So I am so, so thankful that both of you were there with us last year, that Taylor, you get to join us again this year. Carrie, I wish that they would just let you off work so you could come and play with us again this year too. But I think you're just going to have to be like, the slave to the people who need your great care, which we love too. But just so thankful that we could have even this time together. And so for anybody who's listening, a couple of thoughts. I want you to consider how this conversation can drive you to be a better leader, right? As you consider the things that we talked about, right? There were lots of neat words. We talked about adaptability and confidence and honesty and an integrity and consistency and helping others and being comfortable being uncomfortable, right? There were so many good things here. I want you to consider, what's that one thing that stands out most to you? Right? What's that one thing that you could do right now to actually transfer these things to your behavior, right? To the things that are at your doorstep right now, right? Because I know that there's something, and leadership is really about that, right? It's about assessing the situation and acting, right? Assessing what's in alignment, what's my legacy, what's the thing that I do that can really add value here, and then doing it, showing up, acting, serving, being that consistent heartbeat leader. So we hope that you guys are out there leading in big ways, anti-average ways, ways that change status quo, ways that help to build our Western way of life and all the things that we love, so that we can enjoy it for another 100 years and beyond. And yeah, with that, ladies, is there anything else that you would offer? Any parting words of leadership wisdom?
I would just encourage you to be in Colorado again and just hear from those incredible people. Like Taylor said, don't wait. You've got to act now. So act on this once in a lifetime opportunity, no matter what you're doing, whether you're getting ready to run for Miss Rodeo America or your very first rodeo queen title, or even if you're not a rodeo queen or you're just thinking about it. I think this is great for anybody across the board.
Nice. Taylor, how about you?
I agree completely. Don't miss out on this opportunity. I had a phenomenal year last year at this type of event, and I'm so excited that it's moving to Colorado. It'll be right there during Pro Rodeo Hall of Fame. So you're going to be surrounded by exceptional leaders throughout Colorado, and having this one-on-one, hands-on time with them during this clinic will be just a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity that you definitely shouldn't wait to take. But act now and sign up. I hope to see you there.
That's right. And it's super easy. If anybody listening wants to register, you just go to the Miss Rodeo America website and you'll see an events section on the left-hand side. Click that and it'll take you right to all the details that you need. Again, it is August 1st in Colorado, Sedalia, Colorado. So not too far from the Douglas County Fairgrounds, where many of our queens are going to have to be anyway, because we're going to be doing lots of great rodeo action here this week. The Hall of Fame events, all of that here in Colorado Springs will be happening. So go to the website, get signed up, and then you can always reach out to anybody via social media. Miss Rodeo America, you can reach out to myself, Sarah Bohnenkamp, and we'd be happy to answer your questions. So go out and lead, everybody. Thank you for your time. And yeah, travel safe, Taylor. Go out there and kick some butt at the hospital, Carrie. And thanks again for being with us today, y'all. We'll see you later.
Thank you.